right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Two Mortgage Guys podcast. I am here with an awesome real estate agent from Mission Viejo. Fun fact, I actually did not live there, but my family lived there for a few years before I was born. His name is Joey Lane. Welcome, Joey.
Glad to be here.
All right, man. Well, as always with these kind of things, people want to know who you are, why you're here, why are we listening to this guy named Joey Lane. Obviously, he's a real estate agent, and I'm a mortgage lender, so there's some ties there, right? But at the end of the day, they want to know who you are, what's going on. So tell us a little about yourself. How long have you lived in Mission Viejo?
So, John, I've been in Mission Viejo basically my whole life. I was born in Laguna Hills. My family first started in Aliso Viejo. When I was 4, we moved to Mission Viejo. We were off of Crescenta and La Paz Drive, right next to the high school there, Mission High. Oh, nice. And then not too long ago, we moved. We needed a bigger house. So we are currently living off of Marguerite and Crown Valley. And that's kind of like in the border of where Ladera Ranch and Mission Viejo is. So we've been there. We've been super happy with the community. It's an awesome place to live. Mission Viejo, ever since I've been growing up, Mission Viejo has had plenty of community-oriented things.
Yeah.
We have Lake Mission Viejo. We have plenty of hiking trails, plenty of outdoor activities. So close to the beach. Just absolutely fantastic place to live. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. I've been there multiple times. I remember even when my wife was pregnant with my first child, we went to Laguna Hills just to walk around, and Mission Viejo area and all that stuff. I've ridden bikes in Mission Viejo. Mm-hmm. It's like the closest to the best weather you can have almost year round.
Oh yeah.
It's what people talk about San Diego all the time, but they don't realize they're missing out with your area as well. It's
right.
Perfect all the time.
Right.
And it's such a great community. That's why my family, like I said, was there before I was born, and we ended up moving down here to Temecula.
Right.
But if you guys don't know anything about the Laguna area or the Mission Viejo area or anything that you mentioned, Ladera Ranch is beautiful, you're missing out on a great community. And honestly, with the way the market's going right now, definitely something that we would encourage people to go look at is communities like yourself where people can feel safer, they got a nice community to grow up in, there's activities, grow a family, all that stuff.
Absolutely. And you know what I love about Orange County, just as a whole, we're right in between, like you said, San Diego and even Los Angeles. So right. You say if you have business in LA or business in San Diego, you're right smack down in the middle. Like you said, it's a beautiful climate. It has plenty of cities, plenty of community-oriented cities. Yeah. It's just somewhere to be for families and first-time home buyers. Yeah,
and it's kind of got that nice vibe too. Like you said, I like that you compared the cities because you don't get the smog of LA and you don't get the tourism of San Diego.
No, right?
So that's always a nice benefit when you can get the positives of two cities without all the negatives.
Right.
So that's positive.
Yeah.
That's great. So you've been in the area for basically, like you said, your whole life. You have a girlfriend, you said?
I do.
All right, awesome. How long have you guys been together?
Her name is Shelby, and we have been together for about 6 years now.
Wow, nice.
The end of this month, June, we will be going on 6 years, and super excited about that.
Good for you, man. That's good. Longevity in relationships is a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Not that this is always a direct correlation, but that's always a comforting thing, too, and in our line of business, see that people can actually handle commitment, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm sure that shows that I'm not afraid of commitment, and I love her with all my heart.
Yeah. How'd you guys meet?
We met. She's gonna say beginning of 8th grade. I'm gonna say later in 8th grade. We actually had English class the beginning of our year in September, October time, and later that same school year, we kind of had science together. So I kind of noticed her more. And we kind of met that way.
Yeah. Well, so here's one of my favorite parts of the job, right? Is everything's relational. So part of the reason I like to follow people's relationship trails is you kind of get to know the person and understand what they're about. Right. And in particular for our industry, to get to see people that have kind of grown up in their community.
Right.
It's a much more valuable thing because
right.
they understand what the value of that place is that you're going to be getting a home in.
Absolutely.
And so when you're talking to a real estate agent like yourself who's got that fresh perspective on a community and can say, no, this is what is the benefit. This is why I call it home.
Right.
It makes people feel a lot more comfortable about why they're committing $500,000 or $400,000 on a loan.
Yeah.
And so for you, that's got to be a really tremendous opportunity to be able to see people that you get to see join your community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was telling you before, I love first-time home buyers. They're kind of my niche right now. I love to take someone from step 1 all the way to step whatever it might be. And I just find myself being very first-time home buyer oriented. I can take you through the process. I know my people. I mean,
yeah, that's really valuable because as a first-time home buyer, that's the most stressful time to buy a home, right? Like we talk about all the time. I mentioned it recently that there's 2 times that it's really stressful to buy, or 2 stressful things in life, right? Is planning marriage and buying a home.
Right.
And as your first time, it's the most stressful because can I trust my lender? Can I trust my agent? Can I trust the escrow officer? Can I trust the title person? Am I doing the right thing? Did I put enough down? Is PMI okay? Is this okay? Did we get the right carpets? Did we, everything comes into the picture and you're just exploding. Like, I just gave all this money away to something that I might be stuck with for 30 years to make the right choice.
And it's not, I never, when I'm advising someone to buy a home or someone, to sell their home, I'm never advising them, hey, we're going to, buy a house and they're planning on moving out within like 2-3 years. I'm never doing that. I'm trying to find your dream home. I'm trying to find your forever home. I'm trying to find the home for your family. And that's absolutely what Mission Viejo, more broad, is Orange County is what you can find. And I'm never going to advise someone not to buy a home because it's too pricey.
Yeah, in other words, price, it's not about the dollar value.
It's not. I mean, obviously you have to be able to afford your home, and I understand that. Sure. There has to be a point where you're not just looking at this as a financial aspect. You're looking at it, this is where my kids are growing up. This is where I'm going to be for X amount of years. Yeah.
Yeah, when your agent can look at you and say, I understand that your money is important.
Yes.
But I see that there are other things that you value.
Yes.
And that we can direct this conversation in a way where not only did you feel comfortable with the finances that you're putting forth into my hands, but you're also putting your future and these things that you find valuable that you didn't think I would ever care about.
And that's where I come in. That's where I'm coming in and I'm guiding you through. I'm holding your hand. I'm saying we can do this together. Yeah. It's not as hard as people might think it is. Yeah. I'm here for you. These people are here for you. Yeah. Mortgage guys are here for you. They're all here for you. We're all connected. We're all together,
Yeah, and speaking as your lender, like someone that I've gotten to speak to really frequently at this point, we talk all the time, and I can see you come through in your promises, and we can see the sincerity of each other, right? And for me to be able to be the one that handles their money and look at them and say, hey, like, you're fine. The agent that you're buddied up with is the best in the biz. He cares about you. There's more to the dollars and cents for him. That, especially like you said, your niche is first-time home buyers. You're going to help anybody. But if you're somebody that really enjoys the first-time home buyer process, you really are for anybody because you're going to go the extra mile like you would for a first-time home buyer and explain to them like, hey, this is what I do for you, And for someone that's maybe this is their third home, to have an agent that's like, like he still cares about me as if it was my first home, that's invaluable, right?
Yeah. You're never in this alone. You're always with somebody, somebody that cares. There's going to be agents out there that have 50, 60 different clients, and they're kind of moving around all the time. I'm different. I try to keep my clients very personalized. I try to keep the connections that I have very personalized. I don't try to go, I have a connection all the way. He's from the Bay Area or something like that. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to keep it as local as possible, keep it as personal as possible. I feel like that's what those buyers deserve, or those sellers deserve.
Right. And how personal can you be if you're trying to reach all over the place? And
it's just not right.
But if you're able to stay within your community and make a more quality impact, then that personality that you're talking about, that character, those core values of yourself, are going to show. And honestly, people start to realize, oh, I share those too. So that's really cool, man. I can't say enough about the sincerity with which you approach the business, and it's evident even by the way that you ask questions of myself or other people that it's not I'm trying to fill out a form on it, like a blank on an application. It's how can I better serve you? So that's a unique perspective.
And I think like when it comes to me and a lot of agents that I personally know and people that I have connections with, it's not I'm gonna do this because it's another business transactions. I'm gonna do this because I like you and I want to step into your shoes and I want to know where you're coming from. So it's a relationship, absolutely, and that's why it kind of ties back to why you asked if I have a girlfriend. Yeah. And 6 years of commitment with her, and I mean that can show the level of commitment that I have with my clients.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So and if you think about it too, we just went through probably one of the roughest years for most people in their lives, right? We went through the pandemic. A lot of people. I mean, I think in the restaurant industry, they said like a third of California businesses were shut down. The number I think is increasing like overnight on that. And we're seeing a lot of people really stressed about what they're doing and if they're making an honest commitment or a valuable commitment with their funds or their homes and all this stuff. And so since everybody's kind of in this panic, to have someone that can slow down that world a little bit.
Yeah.
And say, I care about you.
And you brought up an interesting point. These people that are afraid that they're, because it's a very normal thing. People are afraid that they're paying too much for their houses because, in all honesty, I don't want to say you are, but like I said to you earlier, if we're trying to find you your forever home, that home is going to appreciate 10, 15, 20 years, hopefully. Because I'm not putting you in a house, like I said, for 2-3 years. I'm putting you in a house for 10, 15, 20 years.
Sure.
I'm not. Yeah. I'm not the guy that's just like all centered, like we're just going to do 2-3 years and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're not just trying to get somebody to loan that they're going to regret.
No, absolutely not.
They want to grow with it. They want to grow. They want to appreciate their time as their money appreciates. They basically want to appreciate the community that they built with that. And to kind of segue into kind of something that you and I have talked about, like that's kind of an interesting way to look at it too, because we're always looking at how the real estate market is growing and changing, right? And with pandemic and COVID going on, that's going to rapidly change the way that we view real estate for a while. And people are like, well, with the world the way that it is, why should I get into a loan that you want me to nurture for 10, 15, 20, 30 years? And, what's the value in that? Like, can you maybe elaborate on a little bit what you think the economy is going to look like for that? Yeah,
so in the future, if you're buying a home now, it's not like, I'm going to circle back to my previous point of I'm not putting you in a home for 2-3 years, again, because that's so important. Let's say, I don't want to say anything crazy, but let's say, there's another 2008, something insane like that.
Right.
I had people, you can look this up on any house. I've had people, buy their home in say 2005, 6, and they sell their home in 2018, 19, still in that 10, 15 year window. Their home appreciated. Their home, they got what they wanted.
That's right.
And
So essentially, what you're defining is that the real estate game, as it always has been, is a roller coaster.
Absolutely.
What goes up comes down. What comes down comes up.
Absolutely.
And so what people need to not stress about is, everybody keeps talking about how high the price value is right now, right? Like the median has gone skyrocketing. Like I think nationwide, everything's around like the $500,000 to $600,000 range.
Orange County alone is 1.1, over 1.1.
1.1 million, right?
Yeah.
And most people are thinking it's only going to go up so much higher before it comes down, right? And back in 2008, some people were thinking it was never going to come back up.
Yeah.
And look at where we're at now. Now we're saying it's too high. And that's the nature of the beast. If you look over the span of history for the last 100 years, it's been that way. I'm sure in the Great Depression, when people were dealing with their homes, they were thinking they were upside down and never going to see any kind of money out of it again.
Right.
Yet we still have clients that are, selling their homes 100 years later that are appreciated 10 times that amount.
Yep.
And so the reality of the market is that while we're getting into these homes, let's say that the market were to take a downturn, like people are expecting the prices to pop and go down. You sit on the house just long enough. Sit there 7 to 10 years is usually average. But you get in there to that 15-year mark even, or whatever, you sell that home, there's tons of equity.
And you're totally fine. And this is where I go back. It's just like, it's not a home I'm putting you in for a few years. It's so important that you're finding your exact right home, and that, that's where your home, or that's where your family's going to grow up. That's where your kids are going to grow up. This is the school district I want them to go to.
Because, the reality is how many kids only grow up for 2 or 3 years and their parents are like, oh, that's enough time, let's go somewhere else. Right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So you're trying to get them to that next chapter of life. Because, reality is that most of the time once kids start school, statistically speaking, the parents try to stay at least within that community until they graduate, right?
Right.
Or at least till middle school even, which is still a 13-year commitment. So that's a really great thing to be able to tell people, like, hey, I realize that you have kids and this is going to fit for you now. Well, my kid's going to grow up. Is this still going to be okay once he's not an infant anymore? I've got 2 boys, so I understand that. Like, when we were looking at our house, if someone was to tell me, like, yeah, it'll be great for the first couple of years, and I'd be like, I got 2 kids that are going to get older than 2 years old. You know what I mean? So is that going to help me at all?
Yeah.
So, it's definitely the point you've been driving home consistently, I think, especially from a lender standpoint, is well met, especially because typically banks and finances are designed to kind of milk the most out of your interest rates for the first few years. But if you spend your time in the house and you put the equity in and you sell,
it's going to be worth it.
It's completely worth it. You don't lose anything on that interest rate in the end.
No, not at all. Yeah.
Well, and money's cheap right now too with the interest rates the way that they still are.
Just right now, but we'll see what the future holds with the money wise.
Yeah, sure. Future wise, I mean, that can change dramatically. I mean, especially with how low they've been. Again, what goes down must come up.
Right.
So we have a lot to play with on that. But that's kind of why I like your perspective on things, Joey, and that's why you're here today. Is we're looking at someone that's like, hey, look, I see what we're afraid of, but look at the horizon. Look at what the beauty is that we can create together.
Right.
And that's what people need. They need someone that's going to be able to see beyond the storm and tell them how to get not only through it, but how to get to a better place.
Right. 100% agree.
And that's that 2 to 3 year plan that you keep telling people, like, stop looking at the short and narrow.
Yeah.
Let's look at the big picture here and how does that benefit you? Sound right?
Yeah, sure does.
That's good, man. Yeah. Well, so we talk about Mission Viejo and Orange County a lot, and I think one of the things that I find most interesting about that is a lot of times when you start bringing up Orange County, people kind of get lost in the sauce, right? Like a lot of stigmas about Orange County, and similar to LA maybe, and maybe they think that price ranges or certain types of environments. But I mean, anyone listening to this podcast now can be like, oh, Joey's a good regular dude. You know, like he's somebody that's found a really good community here, and I mean. Not to like throw your paycheck in front of everybody, but it's not like you're a multi-billionaire or anything living out there. You're a regular guy that's living in a great community.
I'm a guy who's gonna make it super personal for you, super easy for you. I'm a guy who's not gonna like, okay, I'll be here at this time and that's the only time we can meet and I gotta go. I'm not that guy.
Right.
I'm a guy. I'm gonna sit down with you as long as you need me, whenever you need me. Like I said, I have the connections to people that can be the same way as me.
That's right.
Sit down with you, take as long as you need. We're here for you.
Yep.
I got you. It can be crazy, but when you have those crazy moments, I want you to call me, and I want you to call my guys, and I want you to call my gals.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's a really nice perspective. I mean, trust me, I've dealt with a lot of realtors in my time, and getting to see that perspective and know that it's genuine. Because I have plenty of people that ghost clients and get the minimum out of them and are just looking for that paycheck for things to fund, and they don't care. But at the end of the day, you're like, hey, this community. I realize that maybe you're like dollars and cents. This isn't necessarily where I thought we would end up, but you're telling me all of this other benefit for my future, for my goals, for all of this stuff, and you're going to make it happen. That's amazing. I want people to understand like that's a big deal for Orange County area because especially in certain areas, those stigmas can be a little bit correct in that things move a little bit more professionally or more when there's, like you said, $1.1 million is an expensive home. But the reality is you can still find a really affordable community for anybody. Yeah. It doesn't matter what their occupation is or what they qualify for. We can get them into something affordable.
Absolutely.
And you're going to get them into something that they actually appreciate still for that dollar value.
Right. And there's plenty of beautiful townhomes, beautiful condos.
That's right.
All these are appreciating at the same rate of homes. It's not that I'm going to find you a $1.1 million home and your salary is $50,000, $60,000. Yeah. I'm just not going to do that to you. And I'm sure you guys aren't either.
Well, sometimes you got to hop one lily pad to another, right? So
absolutely.
My sister spent, we were actually just talking earlier today, she spent a decent amount of time in a condo. And, she'd gotten it around the time that, the market crashed. But when she sold for 3 times the amount that she got. Absolutely. And as the condo set her up, then they had all this home to put in the equity of their house that is now their dream home that they've spent most of their time in. And, having somebody that understands that part of the market like yourself and help build with them within the community. Because sometimes, sure, maybe the condo was a 3-year plan, but you're still looking in the community of 15 years that you want them in. So you're like, here, let's lily pad you here. Right. You get the equity, and now you're in your home for the rest of your life. Absolutely. That's great. All right, guys. Well, that's about all we have wrapped up here for Joey Lane. I really hope you appreciate the podcast. It's really an awesome treat to be able to meet with a real estate agent this personally. I mean, they're always busy, and I know I talk to Joey all the time, and he's always got stuff on his plate. A lot of people that want to talk to him, and you can see why. He's very genuine. He does his job well. He takes care of his clients. And if you look at the screen right now, I'm going to do this. I always mess with my marketing director, James, because he's got to put the handle somewhere for people to click on for contact information. And any one of those points that you get, it could pop up right there. But we're going to put all of Joey's contact information up there, my contact information, anything that you want to follow up with, anything regarding to the future of real estate, talking about homes, talking about condos, talking about Mission Viejo, Orange County area, or even anything in the state of California, because he'll still take care of you. We'd love for you to reach out and be a part of our conversation further, and I'm sure we'll have Joey on the show again sometime, and we're going to have some more exciting things to talk about as this economy continues to show us what it's got. So that being said, thanks again for joining us, Joey.
No problem. Love being here.
All right, man. Well, you guys take it easy. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.